Hey, Ken here, and I'm going to share some design ideas, particularly how to take a good headshot of you and turn it into this very big, wide hero image, is what we call it, so that you can have a great um, opening impact when someone arrives at your website. Okay, so turning a portrait picture into a nice wide one that you can use in modern design where it's usually taking up a whole, it takes up a whole size, takes up the width of the screen, and it's dramatic. They call it a hero image or like an action shot. And let me show you how to do that. Um, okay, let's close this little window down. So I run a group website creation program, where I take a bunch of coaches and we build their websites. We do it together. I give them steps, guidance, and they do the work and create great websites for their coaching businesses. Here's one website that's entering the design phase. And right now in front of me is like a shell of a website, a layout that I like to use. And I'm not going to go into the layout so much as more so I'm just going to show you an image that I've taken and reworked it. And if you're good with Photoshop or an editor, then you could do similarly, or you can have your web designer or a Fiverr person try and do it as well. In fact, you can share this video with them to help them, get some tips on how to do it. So the image is going to go into this big section here, this light gray area, and I'll put it in there in a moment. But let me just show you. Okay, let me show you the photo I was working with. Where is it? Ignore that. Let me dig it up. Okay, here's a photo of Bob, and so he has a good headshot. It's a great shot, good smile, got good nature in it, good color. The background's a little blurred out. It's a really nice effect. Brings him forward. Nice blue in there. This is just a great shot, and so we'll use it for his profile photo. But what we also want to do is use it for his homepage. Getting new headshots and new action shots or hero images, getting new ones of those can take time and effort to get out there and get the photo. And one of the things I love doing with websites is just really taking what you have and doing something great with it and going quick, because ultimately you need to get your site out there, get it in front of people, get feedback, grow it, improve it, see if it works. And speed is of the essence. Or I should say, not wasting time trying to perfect everything and spending too much time on a lot of details. Basically, speed is important, but time wasting is even more important to minimize time wasting. So let's pop over here. Okay, this is what I've created. Took me a little bit of time to put this together. What I want to do is show you how I did it, just the key points of what I did to make this happen. Yeah, so again, over here is his photo. And I'm not going to give you exactly Photoshop step. I'm just going to show you the key things to do about it. So it's basically I copy his image in, and I'm in Photoshop, and so I created a new layout, so to speak, or it's called a canvas. But essentially, I have his photo in the left 1/3, and I've kept the right 2/3 open. And if I let me just paste this picture in. Basically, this is what I'm starting with in Photoshop. So what I'd like to do is I create um, a new canvas, so to speak, and I'll make it 1,000 high and 3,000 wide. Okay, so those are pretty good dimensions for a big image on your site, on your homepage. It has a good amount of resolution, um, but your designer will know what to do with that. So then I paste this image in here. This is a very high resolution image, so I'm going to need to shrink it down a bit. So I just scale him down and I pop him over here on the left. Okay, so I essentially want him to take up the left 1/3, and so there's about 1/3, right? So here's maybe more like that's 1/3. Here's 1/3, and then the white space represents about 2/3. So I crop them down to there so that when I do pop this image like on a page, when it goes full screen, it's going to take up like that much of a screen on a laptop. let me go back to side here. So if I, if I have that image, if I put it in here in the gray area, it'll fit nicely there. And it'll be spaced 1/3 on the left for his face, and on the right 2/3 for a good core simple message about what he does, who he does it for, how he helps them. A great opening homepage message. Okay, and with the way I lay things out too, I like to have a bit of more content peeking up below here that'll grab them and get them to read more. And I like the menu and logo up the top, non-invasive, good, clean, but not invasive. Anyway, so when I design, I like engage and grab the visitor, get them thinking about the story that the visitor, the client, is really interested in. You want to keep it all about the client. So, anyways, here we are back at Photoshop, and these are the things that I consider when I go into a design. Okay, so here's him. Here's Bob, and I get him in the left 1/3. I think I need to scale that a little bit more, and then so essentially, I have him here, and I need to fill the rest of this space so that it feels like it's part of the image, that it's good. And it's really tough to try to expand things and try to take this image and like draw. I'm not about to draw new grass and trees all around here. It'd be great if the headshot was, a wide one where it had more nature filling it out. The original shot, the best you can get it. That's really where you want to start. You don't want to start creating a lot of things when you go into Photoshop. It just comes out ugly and messy and hard. So one simple way to do it is just to take a color out of here, like this color, and just fill the background with it. That's decent. If you want and this is good for you, put dark text on top of it. No, let me put some dummy text in here. Okay. Why is that not okay? I'll put some dummy text in there. You can see that I'll have dark text with light background, and that's okay. If I make this text white and then I make the background dark, let's say Bob wanted, one of his things, he wanted the site to have a lot of blue in it. You can do something like that or that. Probably this is better. That's decent. That's a good for hero image. But I wanted to take it to the next level and get more of that background, this light and tree and textured green background into it. And so what I did was, conceptually, I'll tell you what I did. I took this here, color from this here, and I basically expanded that out all over this empty space here. Let's make that white again. And that's what I did with this over here. I put that all here. And then I had to blur it a bit here because his arm gets cut off here. And so it's, it's a little fuzzy there, but it's still clean. And then I took, after I did that, filling it out to the right, and a lot of blurring to even out any weird things. I took a texture out of the tree and repeated it over here, so it has some. I take out I can hide that and see. Look, that's what I did before. Then I copied some texture out of the tree, and just slightly put it in there, maybe 20% visible or 25% visible, to give it some of the texture, so it's not just plain. So here's the plain version, and here's a little texture. I think the texture adds. A subtle texture adds to it. And that's how I get the image here. Okay, now it's a wide image, and I've already saved it to my desktop. Let me pop it into his site so you can see what happens. Here's his website. I'm using the Divi Builder from Elegant Themes, and I'm on WordPress. That's how I operate. And it's a pretty good thing. With technology, there's so many ways you can go about things. The more important thing is to not waste too much time, and do a good effort. To all the technology people, designers, everyone has their favorite thing, and everything else sucks but their own thing. But the reality is, you need technology to do the job, and do your best with that technology. And it's more about the content and the story that the visitors and your clients are hearing and seeing. Keep it simple, keep it exciting. And so here, let me just pop in that image. I'm going to go quick. I'm not going to teach much about this stuff. But let's add the image in here so you can see how all the magic happens. Upload file. Let's get Bob in there. And Where are you, Bob? Hero, I think it is. Let's see. Pop in the hero. That is not it. I think I put Bob. Let me go and save it again. Hey, save it. Save it as desktop Bob JPEG. Let me get Bob in there, and there's Bob. So in comes Bob. I'm gonna call him Bob Proudfit. Yeah, life coach for men. Something like that. I'm gonna change that depending on what we decide. And then boom. Nice. Let me quickly get rid of this temporary holding bit. Nice. Let me make sure that the let's see. Yep. Let's get a minimum height so that we can get him in there. There's Bob. Nice. Look at that powerful, green. Maybe a bit more green. It might be nicer, but let's make all this. Let's make that white. Excuse me while I just quickly tweak that. I'm using the Divi theme, so this is the Divi Builder stuff, and just quickly do that. In my group program, I walk everyone through these things, and I help them a lot learn things quickly. So that's what white would look like. I probably need to put a shadow on it. And there's all kinds of things you can do to make sure that content is easy to read, and etc. Let me do the quickly make that content a little bit easier to read. Let me a little darker. That's the positioning. Where's the darkness here? There, which I want. A little bit darker. And we could probably make it green, but we can tweak with that and tweak with the fonts, etc. Let's get rid of this part, make it a little bit less. Yeah, it's kind of clean and good. And then, yeah, so we can mess with those things, but you can see if you tweak with these things. But let's quickly do the button color because that's a big element there. Let's make that button color red, green, black, blue. Probably blue we want to match his shirt. Let's get rid of that border. Yeah. So something like that, and maybe add a shadow to it. There's all things we can muck around with, but for now, I just want to show you that hero image in there. And that's for the text. Box shadows we're looking at. That's inward. Okay, now. So, there's things to do to make it better. But you can see, look, there's hero images in there. Boom, it's nice and strong. Nice, fills the space, good color. That's great. So there you have it. Let's exit the Visual Builder, save it, and pull my face up. Save and exit. Why aren't you saving? Maybe that's in the way. Yeah. I'll go save over here. Save. Okay. Let that finish. And then let me pull my face up. And here I am. Okay, cool. There you have it. Taking taking a portrait image and making it into something you can use landscape for a great impact on your homepage. Coach is there, speaking what he does, engaging with his clients. Excellent.